Can F4 Legends really run on any device? Well, in today's video, we will find out. Scientifically, of course.
Sensational.
As we all know, F4 Legends has been one of the best games that can run on literally any device. But can it actually run on any device? Well, let's find out. So I have a Samsung Galaxy A53 5G which has an Exynos 1280 as a CPU, 6GB of RAM and 128GB of storage. It also has a 120Hz Super AMOLED display. As I said, we will be doing things very scientifically, of course. I have an inbuilt application that allows me to check the CPU's utilization, the GPU's utilization and the temperatures. And with all that being said, let the scientific testing begin. And here we are, guys, loading into F4 Legends, and keep in mind this is high graphics, and loading in we are getting around 45 FPS with 90% CPU utilization, 20% GPU utilization with around 45 degrees Celsius and 31% of RAM usage. And please keep in mind the stats do spike up and down sometimes, so I won't be able to give the precise countings, but for test 1 we're gonna load into a map and see how much FPS we can get. So let's go. And for test 1 we are loading into EBM circuit, and I feel like this is a pretty demanding map because it has a lot of textures that it has to load in quick, keep in mind, and I feel like this is really gonna stress the CPU and the GPU. FPS is currently at 59, the CPU utilization is around 60, GPU 50, and the temperature still at 45 degrees Celsius with the RAM going up a whole percentage, which isn't a lot, keep in mind. Also remember the game has to load in textures and all that thing, so it didn't really go up by much, so I'm assuming you don't really need a lot of RAM to run this game. But then again, no mean to brag, I know my phone is not the most powerful, but I would say my phone is more than decent enough to run this game at a solid 60 FPS. And although you guys can see some frame drops, I'm not really feeling frame drops in the gameplay. I'm really feeling a smooth 60 FPS. So like I said, I'm feeling a smooth 60 FPS in the gameplay with many drops in the FPS, but I don't really feel it in the gameplay. But I think that's a good example. Let's move on to the next map. Loading into this next map, I don't know how to pronounce the name, but we're getting around 49 FPS with I shows 80% CPU utilization, 50% GPU utilization and 45 degrees Celsius, and the RAM usage did spike up to 34. Once again, this is a bigger map that has more textures to load in, so it's obviously gonna spike up a bit, but as you can see, we're getting a solid 60 FPS on a bigger map, which was completely unexpected. I thought we were gonna get a solid 60 on the previous map and around 50 to 60 FPS on this map, but what can I say, that's surprising. But that's enough testing in high graphics, bro. Let's switch over to low graphics and see what really makes a difference. Okay guys, so we just switched to low graphics, and I must say the map looks terrible, bro. Like, look at it, bro. Like, textures aren't even loaded in. It absolutely looks horrendous. But then again, we do see an uplift in FPS. I saw the FPS hit 62 for a moment, and then again we do have higher CPU utilization, which don't make sense. The GPU utilization is around the same, the temperature is the same, and we're still using 33% of RAM, which is actually higher than we played this map on high graphics. So I'm kind of confused, but anyways, that's not really my main concern. We're getting a solid 60 FPS throughout the map, and the gameplay is somehow still stuck. Like when I was playing on high graphics, the game was way smoother, but I think that's just got to do with the low graphics having to load in textures that aren't really complete, which making the game very stuttery and laggy. But anyways, and that's enough science for a day. Honestly, I'm kinda flabbergasted. So can F4 Legends really run on any device? The answer is yes, bro. This game has minimum basic requirements of like 3GB of RAM, and I think in 2025 we all have phones with at least 4GB of RAM and a gigabyte of free storage to download the game. But that's basically it from me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider liking, subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.